long before Wakanda, before samurai swords clashed under cherry blossoms, there was Yasuke, a real African warrior who shook 16th century Japan to its core. He wasn't a myth, he was an anime, he was real, and his arrival, let's just say it caused more chaos than a drum circle at a Zen temple. The story begins somewhere in East Africa, Mozambique, Ethiopia, Sudan. Historians still argue, louder than uncles at a funeral buffet. But what we do know, Yasuke was brought to India by the Portuguese, and then destiny rerouted him straight to Japan. By 1579, Yasuke was serving a Jesuit priest named Alessandro Valignano, a man determined to spread Catholicism across Asia. But while Valignano had God on his lips, everyone had Yasuke on their minds, a 6'2" African giant walking through feudal Japan. That's like dropping Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson into a Game of Thrones episode barefoot. You see, Japan was homogeneous. Most people had never seen a foreigner before, let alone one with dark skin, muscles like carved obsidian, and the calm demeanor of a monk on mute. Some thought he was a god, others a demon. A few even tried to scrub the black off his skin. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. But Yasuke wasn't just different. He was disciplined, fluent in multiple languages, strong, smart, fiercely loyal, exactly the kind of man who'd catch the attention of one of Japan's most powerful warlords, Oda Nobunaga. And just like that, Yasuke's days as a bodyguard were over. He was about to become a samurai, the first African in Japanese history to do so. Not bad for a guy they thought was magic. Imagine this. You walk into a warlord's palace barefoot, foreign, and fresh off the boat. And instead of tossing you out, the most powerful man in Japan says, I like your vibe. Want a sword? This wasn't some side gig. Yasuke was officially adopted into the Nobunaga clan, given a katana, a private residence, a stipend, and perhaps most shocking of all, he got respected. In a world where outsiders were usually treated like viruses in a samurai immune system, Yasuke became a VIP. Now don't get it twisted. Yasuke didn't just sit around drinking sake and taking selfies with his katana. He trained hard, swordsmanship, strategy, battle etiquette. And brr, this ain't Hollywood. One wrong move.
Your sushi.
Soon, Yasuke wasn't just a samurai. He was Nobunaga's right-hand man, his bodyguard, his enforcer, his "don't make me call Yasuke" warning. Think of him as a one-man Wakandan secret service. Then came the real test. War was brewing, and not just any war. This was the battle for Japan itself. Rival clans, betrayals, samurai Game of Thrones type drama. And Yasuke? He was right in the middle of it. In 1582, Nobunaga was betrayed by one of his own generals, Akechi Mitsuhide. It was a coup, a setup. And Yasuke? He was in the temple when it all went down. Imagine protecting your boss, while the whole building is literally burning around you. Nobunaga died that day. Yasuke didn't run. He fought. till the last sword cracked, till the last man fell. But the tides had turned, and not even an African warrior could stop what was coming. And just like that, the African samurai vanished from Japanese history. No records, no monuments, just silence. Until centuries later, his legend would rise again, in books, in anime, in Netflix shows, and right now, on your screen. So, what happened to Yasuke? Did he return to Africa, live out his life as a legend among monks, or just disappear like a mist over Kyoto? The truth is, nobody knows. Japanese records mention him briefly after Nobunaga's death, handed over to the Jesuits, then silence. Not even a footnote? That's how history treats black greatness sometimes. Admire it for a moment, then bury it. But come on now, you think a six to shredded African man who walked into Japan and became a samurai just disappears. Please, Yasuke didn't vanish. He became a legend. In the 20th century, researchers, writers, and proud black historians started digging. They found clues, mentions in missionary journals, whispers in Japanese oral traditions, and what emerged was more than just a samurai. It was a symbol. Yasuke was proof that black excellence didn't start with slavery, that black warriors didn't need rescuing, they wore the armor, and that global black stories aren't just about pain, they're about power. Yasuke's legacy echoes today, in classrooms, in movies, in cosplay conventions, and yes, even in anime. Who would have thought? A man born in Africa would one day star in a Netflix series with robot ninjas. The ancestors are probably watching like, hey, see this twist? But here's the deeper truth. Yasuke represents something sacred. The untold stories, the hidden heroes, the black footprints history tried to sweep away. He is a reminder that our ancestors went everywhere, and they mattered. So today, we say Yasuke's name loud and proud, because he wasn't just a samurai, he was a mirror, showing us what happens when courage meets culture, when strength meets grace, when a warrior walks boldly into history and writes his name in fire. The African samurai lives on. My people, never forget, our ancestors weren't just broken, they were brilliant. And Yasuke, he wasn't a myth, he was a man. A black man, in armor, in honor, in history. To the ancestors who walked boldly into foreign lands, we remember you.